Ki bajayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati ko shobha 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 Advaita Shri Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
all of our guests here in the temple, as well as those who are joining online. Hari Hari Bol. We just witnessed the Aarti ceremony. This ceremony is greeting the Lord. Whenever we come to the temple, we greet the Lord. The Lord is a person, we want to greet him. So we start with this, and also greeting is accompanied with glorification. Chanting the name of the Lord is actually very pleasing to him, and we also derive great benefit by thinking of the Lord, glorifying the Lord. It is one of the process of devotional service. So we offer different items. Many of you probably are already familiar with. So after that, we also had a prayer on Lord Narasimha. Now, Narasimha is the protector of the devotees. Good example is, you know, the story of Prahlad. So he's there always to bless us, but it takes our initiative to seek his protection. When you do that, Lord actually reciprocates. Now, our routine program is after this Aarti, we will have a talk on spiritual, transcendental subject matter. And today I have a very nice guest, actually speaker is not a guest. Sometimes he appears like a guest because he splits part of his time in going to Montreal, part of his time here. So we are lucky to have him here today. So he will be giving the talk. I thought I will introduce this Prabhu. His name is Vrindavan Das. He will be giving us the presentation. He actually, after doing his undergraduate engineering degree, he came to study here. We are fortunate that he studied here in Ottawa. He came in 2017. And then, since then, he has been associated with coming to his temple. So slowly his interest also picked up in spiritual subject matter, along with whatever occupation he was in. So he couldn't have enough of it in one place, so he had to go to another place. He was going to Montreal also, as he said earlier. He was going to Montreal as well. And he is very, very enthusiastic. Because of his enthusiasm, he actually been reciprocated by the Lord's grace. So he obtained his Harinama Diksha as the first initiation. So that actually connects with what we call as Parampara system. So it is not something, this is new kind of, new age gurus. There are so many of them new age gurus, but it's very tradition based. So we follow Bhagavad Gita primarily, and also another very important scripture from India, called Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavata Purana. So both of these are very, very important. And then there are so many other literature. In fact, study of spiritual science is lot more involved than material science. We are so used to only material science, so we've never been exposed to spiritual science. But once you get into it, you would actually get so absorbed in that, so, it is so informative and actually transformative as well. Because after all, we are not this body. In Bhagavad Gita, first thing we learn, we are not this body. But we don't neglect the body, because body is given to us for a purpose. So we use this body for a very higher purpose. It is attaining our true nature, which is completely spiritual. And by the grace of the Lord and the Guru, because the Guru actually introduces the Lord and the scriptures. So we understand the Lord only through scriptures, Guru, and there are other sadhus who are saintly persons. So we have a lot of guidance available for us to pursue the spiritual knowledge. So I was lucky to get his initiation recently. So we wish him all the best in his spiritual practice, and he will share with us some of his understanding. Should there be any question, you can, after the talk, you can ask him, and we'll have some clarification. It's not just question, we can even have a discussion. So other people also can join, because ultimately we are here, association of devotees is to glorify the Lord and participate in the Harinam Sankirtan process. And we also, through the exchange, we get a better understanding, because people have a slightly different perspective on what they care about during the talk or during the class. So then we exchange, so everybody benefits. Because sometimes people have some thought in their mind, they don't know how to exactly express that. Some people are even shy, they don't want to express anything because they go, other people may think a little bit less of them, it's natural. So. But as you know, questions if you have, please ask. Nothing is to worry about. We are all here to say, learn. We are all students, we are all here to learn. So it is to your benefit and also to the benefit of other people here. So let me, by the way, it looks like there are some new guests here, am I right? Anybody is coming here for the first time? No?
First time on Sunday.
Can you repeat?
First time on Sunday.
Yeah, okay. So you been to another location of ISKCON?
No.
No. So you are first time here. This International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Or more? Okay. All right. Good. So let me introduce our guest here today. Vrindavan Prabhu, I mentioned, I think he came 2017 and he pursued his interest, and I think it's a bright future for him. So we should come to highlight our team. I also welcome everyone online. I'm not able to look at the screen to individually greet all of you, but I know that you're all there every week. So once again, a hearty welcome to you. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Kanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashikadeshitari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Sada Shivasari Gaura Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas who have given me opportunity to speak here. I'm not qualified, but still they have given me some opportunity to reflect on Bhagavad Gita. So please correct me if I have doing any mistake in speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam. From my humble heart, I pay my respectful obeisances to my Guru and all the Vaishnavas sitting. Today we will speak on the Srimad Bhagavad Gita from the text chapter 13, text 8 to 12. So the purport of this chapter is big, so we'll take some points from this purport, but the verses are very important, which always been enlightening me through my Guru Maharaj. So I will first read the text and purport, and then we'll go through the translation and purport, and we'll have some discussion on this text. Amanitvam adhamvitvam ahimsa shanti arjanam acharyopasnam shaucham staryam atma vinigraha indriyaneshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktirnabhivanka putradhara gradeshu Nityam sa samachitvam istana papistitu Mai chananya yogena bhakti ravicharani Viviktadesha savikvam Araktir jana samsadi Adhyatma jnana nityatmam Tattva janartha darshanam Etat jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yat ato yatha. Translation by Prabhupada. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, disease, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid the pleasant and the unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and the philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these are declared to be the knowledge, and beside this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. So I'm not reading all because it's a 4-page purport, 5-page. So I'm taking the few points which I'll be discussing from this purport today. But there's a whole one concise of 5 verses. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have satisfaction of being honored by others. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of man in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not this body, anything honor or dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. One should not be hankering after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion, and consequently sometimes it is found that without understanding the principle of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious principle and then want to advertise himself as a religious mentor. As for the actual advancement in spiritual science, one should have tests to see how far he is progressing. He can judge by these items. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. When one understands that he is not this body and is spirit soul, he comes to this real ego. Ego is there, false ego is condemned, but not real ego. In Vedic literatures, it is said, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am spirit. This I am, the sense of self, also exists in the liberated state of self-realization. This sense of I am is ego. But when the sense of I am is applied to this false body, it is false ego. When the sense of self is applied to the reality, that is real ego. There are some philosophers who say we should give up our ego, but we cannot give up our ego because ego means identity. We should ought of course to give up false identification with the body. One should try to understand the distress of accepting birth, death, old age and disease. There are descriptions in various Vedic literatures of birth. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the world of the unborn, the child's stay in the womb of the mother, its suffering, etc. are all very graphically described. It should be thoroughly understood that birth is distressful because we forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of the mother. We should not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of sufferings. And they are also mentioned in the authoritative scriptures. These should be discussed. And as far as the disease and old age are concerned, everyone gets practical experience. No one wants to be diseased and no one wants to become old. But there is no avoiding these. Unless we have a pessimistic view of material life, considering the distress of birth, death, old age and disease, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. So from this verse, Prabhupada is trying to convey the message of false ego. We need to understand what is false ego and why we are facing all this distress in our life. Once we connect ourselves with this body, the false ego will come. Because of the material nature, we try to accept this body as I. But with the philosophical understanding, we can understand we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul. We always tell ourselves, this is my hand, this is my body, this is my head, I am this, I am this. So if you relate, this is my hand, my and hand is two different things. If you logically understand, my and hand is two different things. My body, my mind, my intelligence. So my and intelligence, my and mind, my and bodily parts are all different. Once we understand that these are two different things, then the next question comes, who am I? If you logically understand who am I, this question, if it deepens and we try to ask ourselves this question, who am I? Then we dive into the scriptures and try to find the answer, who am I? And the scriptures is trying to say that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am the spirit soul. So once we understand that we are the spirit soul, then we try to understand, if I am the spirit soul, then what is my connection and where I come from? We can understand this body will come from our parents somehow, but we try to understand, if I am the spirit soul, what is my connection? Where there must be some connection. We always try to seek pleasure from the material nature, some material, try to gratify the material senses to satisfy this bodily demands. But the real question is, if I am the spirit, what can satisfy my spirit? What is the thing which can satisfy the spirit? And this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Prabhupada, the Acharyas are saying, only the holy name, the chanting of the holy name can satisfy the spirit. Only we need to really understand what we are missing. We are missing our understanding. We are forgetful that we are this, not this material body, we are the spirit soul. So there is one story which is relating to this, which was spoken by Guru Maharaj. And to understand this forgetfulness nature of the living species. Before I say the story, we need to understand, in the human form of life, we can only understand this concept that I am the spirit. If you ask any dog to come here and sit and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, he might not sit and he might not understand. It is the only human form by which we can understand we are not this body but this spirit soul. So after so many species, after 8.4 million species of transformation, we get the human life to understand this and get out of the cycle of birth, old age, disease and death. This is a cycle that we are all suffering and we are all going through. And all the scientific advancement we are doing in our material life and trying to make our standard, increase the standard of living, no matter what we do, we cannot eliminate the suffering. Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita is saying that birth is the first part of the suffering. It's an intense suffering in the womb of a mother, and it's been described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then after old age and disease, it has to come. We all see the elderly people, they are going through the suffering, but we still think that we're not gonna get old. We don't have the disease. We will live. We are immortal beings until our conception, our conviction becomes clear that this body is not for pleasure. The suffering is waiting for us in the future. Once this understanding becomes very strong that suffering is coming, then we try to logically understand that if suffering is coming, what is the way out of it? How we can cut the knots of this suffering? And then we dive into the scriptures and find that how we can cut this suffering. And the question comes that why we are suffering and why we are here. Because we are trying to seek the pleasure separate from Krishna. That's why we are sent in this material world, to seek the pleasure here. Once we understand that we are separated from Him, we need to awaken the love for the Supreme. Once this understanding becomes clear that the root cause of my suffering is I'm trying to lord it over the material nature. When this is clear and we not try to lord it over and try to do everything for the pleasure of Krishna, then slowly and slowly we are deviate away from the suffering, because our focus of attention is towards the lotus feet of Krishna. To understand this concept, there's a beautiful example from the Ramayana. Ram went to jungle for 14 years, exile of 14 years, and Lakshman was very dear to Rama. So they both went along with Mother Sita. They were facing all the austerities in their life. There was all the problems in the jungle. There is no worldly pleasures. There is no palace. There is nothing, and they was struggling there. They're going through all the problems and trouble. But Lakshman was very happy. He's not going through the suffering because he was so much attached. He was feeling pleasure in serving his brother Lord Rama. So there are two things. One is suffering and one is the problems. Problems we cannot eliminate from our life. Problems because of our past karmas, the circumstances, the problems will come in our life. But how we react to it, that's the important thing. So it's very important that we can understand from the example of Lakshman and Ram that Lord Rama, in the service of Lord Rama, Lakshman was so happy amid all the problems, all the troubles in his life. Another example of devotion, if we see from Ramayana, that Shabri was from the lower caste, but his guru told him that Lord Ram will come one day to give you to come here. So every day he used to go in the jungle and pick the bear. What do you call it in English? Pears. So he picked the pears, different pears, and what he in the so deep emotion that Lord Ram is coming, he tried to taste it so that they are all sweet. They are not no bitter beer can I can present to Lord Ram because he is one supreme. So in the emotion, because of intensity of emotion, he was collecting all the beers, and when she's getting older and older, And every day she is waiting on the path. She collects a flower and put on the path where Lord Ram can come. Every day, in the emotion that Lord Ram maybe come today, maybe come tomorrow. And every day she is waiting. So with that intensity she was worshipping. And she is getting older and older. And when Lord Rama came, and Lord Rama asked for those pears. And Lord Rama didn't realize that they are already tasted, or already, we call it, already tasted. But they don't have, Lord Rama don't have that feeling, because he was looking at the pure love of Shabri. So from this story, we can understand that what the love for Lord we can need to have. Another example we can take from the Lord Krishna's story, Sudama. When we understand the Lord Sudama's story, he was very poor, but he was a classmate in Gurukul with Lord Krishna. So they were very good friends. So he was a Brahmin. So one day he just have no food at home, and his wife and children were sleeping hungry. That middle of the night, Sudama woke up in a hunger, that he was so hungry, and start looking for something. When he was looking at the utensils, empty utensils, he found one piece of grain, just one piece of grain. So what he did, when he found the one piece of grain, he didn't eat that, it's dry. So he break that piece of grain in two halves and put on the leaf, and one half grain he put on the side of his wife, and another grain he put on the altar of Lord Krishna, photo of Lord Krishna over there. You start praying, this is for you. And his wife awakes, said, if you have this amount of determination, that why you are half giving to me, take this half and give to Krishna. So that's that when you don't have anything, just half piece, and the one piece of grain he give it to Krishna. And how the story relates forward, his wife asks to go to Krishna and ask something, because he was king of Dwarka at that time. And Sudama don't want to go to Lord Krishna to ask anything. He was completely surrendered at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But his wife insisted that you please go, you please go. They don't have anything at home. So before going, his wife asked some chip rice from the neighbor, that you are going to Krishna, take something with you. So he borrowed the chip rice from the neighbor for Krishna, the king. So after he started walking towards Dwarka, faced all the difficulties, and reached Dwarka. At reaching Dwarka, he was made fun of it when he said, I am the friend of Krishna. The Dwarpal, the soldiers standing outside the palace, they first made the fun of him. But he sat there and asked, just give one time a message that your friend Sudama has came to see you. After the persistent soldier went inside and gave a message to Lord Krishna that Sudama came. And Lord Krishna was having eating food at that time. And Rukmani served, Mother Rukmani just served the food to Krishna. Without even thinking, when he heard that Sudama is here, he left the food and started running towards to meet Lord Sudama. So just feel the conjugal love of the devotees and the Lord. How that conjugal love of Lord and his devotees. And Rukmani was thinking, who just came, that Lord Krishna, who's the king of this palace, start running bare feet to see his guest. When he comes and sees Lord Sudama, he welcomed Sudama very well. And see the conjugal love, when he received, Lord Krishna received Sudama, he came and honored him and washed his feet. And Lord Sudama is crying. Lord Sudama is crying. And when the tears was about to fall, Lord Krishna put his hand and held those tears and drank those tears. Imagine the love of the devotees and the Lord. So when we delve into this conjugal love, we try to awaken that what we are missing in our life. Where Sudama was so poor, but still Lord Krishna is coming to see him and welcome him. And Sudama was so ashamed that he has just brought the chip of rice with him. So he was hiding, and he don't want to give it to Krishna because he was feeling ashamed, but he has the pure love of in that chip rice. And Krishna knew everything, so he tried to get those chip rice from the Sudama, and Sudama was trying to resist and not able to give, because he was feeling ashamed that Lord Krishna is have all the opulence, all the wealth and the big palace. Why he want to have my chip rice? So when he forcefully took the chip rice, the small, it was in the small cloth. When he took it, so when Krishna took it, he had the one handful of chip rice, and then second hand of chip rice. And when he was about to take the third handful of chip rice, Rukmini stopped him. Rukmini said, "No, you cannot take it." And he stopped and take that. I will take it. So with every chip rice, he says, "I give you one loka." The three lokas. So he says, "This is one loka with the one a handful of chip rice." With the second handful of chip rice, he gave second loka. When the third handful of it came, Rukmini stopped. He says, "If you give the third one, I will go." Where we will go. So when it was a conversation between Rukmini and Krishna later on, he said, Sudama had just have one piece of one rice grain, and he gave all that to me. Then why I should think when it times for me to give to Krishna, to Sudama? So in that way, we can understand the conjugal love between the devotees and the Lord. Once that conjugal love start developing within us, then our false ego will fall apart, and we'll realize that we are the spirit soul and the Father is one. And the same another story happens in Krishna Leela. When Krishna was very small, there was fruit vendor lady going outside and calling, "Fruit lelo, take the fruits." And Krishna wanted to have the fruits, and he started running towards the door to buy the fruits from that lady. And he was very small. Krishna was very small at that time. He asked for some fruits. Said, "Can you give me something?" The lady asked, "Can you give me something? Anything?" He said, "Okay, I will bring some rice grains for you in the exchange of fruits." So Krishna went running inside the house to get some handful of grains for that fruit lady. And when he get the handful of rice grains, when he was running back, his hand was very small. It's all start falling apart. Everything just fall, and just one piece of one rice grain left in his hand. And when he came back to the lady, he said, "Take this one rice grain." But that lady was so absorbed, with the beauty of Krishna, that he gave all his fruits to Lord Krishna and gave full his hands and arms with the fruits, and take one piece of rice and put in his bucket. And when the lady left, all his bucket was full of jewels. So that is the beauty of Krishna, that we need to be attracted. It is our false illusion that we are not attracted to the Supreme. Guru Maharaj says, what's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is nothing but just to awaken the love for one Supreme Lord. And we are forgetful that we are not connected and not attracted by it. But Lord Krishna put us in all the sufferings, all the problems, so that we look at Him. If you look at deeply, that soul and super soul in the form of two birds is sitting on the tree within us, and soul is trying to enjoy the fruits, sweet and the bitter, and his friend super soul is trying to see that when my friend will get frustrated from all the sweet and bitterness and look at me. When we get really frustrated from this material world and try to seek the ultimate reservoir of pleasure within ourselves, then we look for Krishna. And when we find Him, then you find that there is no obligation for anything in this world. That all the service, all my actions, everything is towards the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So we need to really understand that what is our relationship. So the story I left in the very starting, I want to come to that story, because why I'm telling all the stories, sometimes we're not able to connect with the philosophy. With the stories, somehow we can dovetail our illusion mind towards Krishna with the pure love of Krishna. So this story I heard from my Guru Maharaj. So there was one king, and after so many austerities and after so many years, he had one son. And one day he planned to go for a hunting in the jungle. And when he was going toward jungle, his son insisted that I also want to go with you. But father don't want to take him to the jungle at the very small age. But his soldier said, don't worry, we will take care of him, so he can come along with us. So somehow soldier convinced him that they will take care of the son and you can go for hunting. So they both went with all the soldiers for hunting. And they go deep in the jungle, and at that point the storm came. The massive storm came. Everybody scattered, everybody starts scattering to find the shelter of the trees to save themselves. In the midst of the chaos of the storm, the soldiers lose the hold of the son, and the soldiers lost the son. And there was some dacoits, the people who loot living in jungle. They found the boy. They don't have any son, so they took the boy of the king and took with them. They start taking care of the boy, and they knew that it was the son of the king. Instead of returning, they said, we'll take with us and we'll make him our child. So they start raising him up. After some time passed, one saintly person comes at the king's palace, and the king served the saintly person very, very well. And saintly person was very happy after so many days of good treatment from the king. And he asked, tell me what you want. So king told me, can you please tell me that if my son is alive or dead? If it's alive, can I get him in some way? So saintly person said, give me some time, I will tell you in some time. So the saintly person used to roam around. So he was traveling in the village in some days. So he went to the jungle and he found the cats and the son there. And he got to know that this son is not there because of the appearance. It was all in a very good complexion with all the positive thoughts, and those doing all the wrongly things. So he went there and the cats came there. Somehow the cats confessed that this is not their son. But son didn't knew about this till last. He didn't told the cat to give the son to the king at that point. So he met the son in separately and told him that, do you know this is not your father? He said, I don't care. They raised me up, so this is only my father. He said, don't tell me much. I have the devotion toward my parents. He said, look at your face in the water and face of your parents. Do you think there is any matching? You're not their father. And I know your parents. And he just left. He created the doubt in the children's mind, and he left. After some days, he came back again. And he came back again and asked him and talked to that child again. He said, do you know that your father is king of the nearby village? He said, I don't care, these are my parents. So, and he just told and left again. But in some time, he start realizing and understanding that I'm not their children, and some type of dissatisfaction start coming in, and he start always sitting alone and contemplating about it and thinking that I have all the positive and they are doing all the wrong things. After some days again, the Brahman came and again, the saintly person to that child. In that state, the child is saying, can you take me to my father? Can you help me to meet my father? He said, no, wait for some time, I will come next time and I will take you. So he left the child struggling and suffering for the intensity to build up within himself. So he left again from that place, Brahman. The fourth time, Brahman came to the child and he was crying and crying every single day with the intensity that, where are my parents? I want to meet them. I'm not their children. In the isolation and sitting alone. And then when fourth time Brahman came, he took the son and helped him to meet his father, king. So the moral of this story we are trying to create, if the Brahman took the son for the first time, he will run away from the king. He will run away. So what Brahman was trying to do, because he promised the king that I will get your son, he was trying to detach him from the parents who was raised them, and trying to create the intensity of love for his original parents. In the similar way that we are so much absorbed in this material life, we are not able to understand who is our real father. When the love is awakened for the one supreme, when the intensity of love will become enough, then we will start crying, and then we will able to find the solace in the lotus feet of Lord Hari. The mother will not pick the child and give him milk unless he or she start crying, start asking for milk. So similar way, like a child, we need to cry. We need to cry with a pure heart that I want you. I have no obligation towards this worldly matters. You are my only and only shelter. Once this intensity deepens within our heart, then our false identity will fall apart. And how we can try to advance to this mindset? By the devotional service. And the devotional service is by chanting the holy name. The best initial stage of devotional service, we can chant and serve Vaishnavas, we can chant the holy name. And most of us, including me, we think that when we chant, our mind goes away, our mind runs to the different things. And Guru Maharaj says, keep chanting. My mind will become tired of going the other places if you keep chanting. If you keep chanting, my mind will become tired. Then he will say, I have no other way, just to stick here. So let the mind tired of going other way and try, and it will come to the center by itself. So yoga means that union. Yoga means union. What is union? Union of soul, of Jivatma with the Paramatma, the super soul. So the yoga, the perfect yoga is Bhakti Yoga. Once we directly try to connect with the lotus feet of Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. And with this understanding, we can really realize Him. And understanding will when deepens that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. I am the spirit soul. I am Brahmas, Aham Brahmasmi. When this completely understanding becomes clear, then we will not try to seek the pleasure, the bodily pleasure. And when we by itself start detaching from this bodily pleasures, and then we will find the pleasure in seeking Vaishnavas, in seeking the service of Lord Hari in some way, whether it's chanting, whether it's Harinama, whether it's reading the stories. So there are 9 processes it's been described in Shastra. So we can engage in any process, but the first 2 is Shravanam and Kirtanam. First is hearing and then chanting. So hearing the Lord's glories and chanting will purify us. Do we have more time for this?
Questions and answers?
Yes. So I will thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak. I will stop speaking and will ask for the reflections and your questions. Not qualified to answer all those questions, but definitely I will try my best with my limited knowledge.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for wonderful class. I was just wondering, at the end of the class you said how we need to come to the level of intense burning desire to attain Krishna's love, to please Krishna, to come to Krishna's lotus feet. Just like mother will not give, just like a child needs to intensely call for the mother, and then mother will be in a hunger, and then mother will do something about giving, mother will give the milk. So what's hope of us who don't have this burning desire? How to cultivate, increase the desire to attain Krishna? Basically, my question is, if desire is not strong enough, what's the hope for us in that case?
By persistent chanting and crying with the heart, whatever our situation is, we can chant and pray to Lord Krishna. Without his mercy, in my understanding from my Guru Maharaj, without Krishna's mercy, without Guru's and Krishna's mercy, we cannot, nothing is in our control. Without Guru's and Krishna's mercy. So we should pray at the lotus feet of Guru, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. Please give us the intelligence so that we can chant your name purely. So in our hands is to just pray to Lord Krishna and have no material desires. When we are asking anything from Krishna, he knows and he fulfills it. So, and nothing happens without his sanction. So whenever we are in front of deities and Krishna will ask, I'm completely fallen soul. Please give me your mercy. Please give me some of your love, and pray to Radharani's lotus feet. And somehow, some way, if we keep asking, Krishna and Radharani will be merciful on us in some time, and we can get this determination. I hope I put in knowledge I answered.
Hare Krishna, thank you Prabhu for the wonderful class. When you were saying about Doshanu Sagar, I remember that shloka from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying, Mammu Petya Punarjanam Dukhalyam Shashvatam. After attaining me, the person who is in devotion, he will never come into the birth of this life of birth and death. So that was really good shloka that you had. So my question is, like, when we go to the Vaikuntha planet, we go to Chaturbhuj Avatar. When we go to the Golok Vrindavan Dham, does all that devotion, the devotees who are there, they will enter directly into the Ras Leela, or only few great souls like the sages or Mahatma who were there in the Treta Yuga, who were sadhu, they were involved in they became gopis and they enter into the Ras Leela? Or, like, in my understanding, the devotee think that whether he is living in hell or heaven, he just wants the Krishna service. So can we sometimes think that I also want to enter into the Ras Leela? So can we think like that? Or
The important question we need to ask ourselves and try to answer is how we can become the servant of the servant. It's not like what form we will have. The real question is how we can become the servant of the servant and how we have the pure love. Doesn't matter which form we have. Doesn't matter what form we get, what service we get. But the real question we need to ask, how we can awaken the pure love and how we can completely absorb in the service. Prabhupada said in his purports, somebody is brooming here and somebody is doing the deity service. Both are doing the equivalent amount of the service, equal level of service. It doesn't matter what service is doing. So we should not contemplate what form we will get, what will happen after that. But the real question we need to answer ourselves is how we can really awaken the pure love, how we can clean our heart and become more humble and humble. So the first thing in this purport is saying humility. Why there is no humility within us? It's because of false ego. That we want other people to serve me. We want that other people to serve me. But The problem is we need to understand how we can serve others. That's the attitude and mindset we need to develop. How we should every way think that how I can serve Vaishnava, how I can make some effort, how I can do some preaching work, how I can connect with myself with Krishna, how I can connect others with Krishna. So real question, real understanding is not that what form I get. The real answer is that how I can completely absorb myself in the service of Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a wonderful lecture. My question is, when there is no intense desire for burning desire, yes, we pray to Krishna, Krishna, please give me the intelligence, please make me chant every day, don't give me that forgetfulness, and please make me remember of you. But what is that action item that I have to take for myself? Okay, I expect the mercy from Krishna. It's not that Krishna wants to give the mercy always, I always receive mercy. I should also have from my end the efforts that what we want to do, the action items. Say for example, there would be some material desires. If you want to watch some mundane movies or do mundane things with your other friends, your heart is saying no, but you're stuck in a situation that you are trying to follow those mundane things. So what are those situations, what are those action items you immediately take? You take remote, or what do you immediately do to tell your mind, no, this is not what I want to do? What is that immediate action item we have to take from, what is that effort we have to put?
It's about priority. If we set the right priorities for us, what we want. Krishna in 9th chapter, 18th verse is saying, whatever becomes obstacle in the path of devotional life, reject that. Reject that action which is becoming the obstacle on the path of your bhakti. So it's about priorities. Let's say you have exam tomorrow and you know that I haven't prepared much and your friends are asking for a movie. Will you go for a movie or sit in the house and study?
That's questionable.
If you know that you have to pass the exam tomorrow, you will sit in the house and study, right? So similar way, if you know that my path, my goal, my priority is Krishna, then there is nothing. So Guru Maharaj always says, what's the purpose of life? The first thing is to define the purpose of life. What's the purpose of life? He says, the purpose of life is one, Krishna Prem Prapti, means to awaken the pure love within. Your why is clear of life. When your why is clear for the life, that this is my why and this is the definition, every action should go toward that. Every action. Once the understanding deepens that my goal is to awaken the love, and this is not a 1 or 2 days preparation. It takes hundreds and hundreds of life forms. And he says that your goal is this, in this birth only I have to attain it. Not I have to next birth. Your intensity should be, this is only birth. People might take hundreds of births, but this is the only birth I have to take, and I have to go back only in this birth. And it's a long process. I have to completely absorb. When this understanding, the why will become clear in your life, then the priorities, this is the top priority, purpose of life. Then all other priorities come second. If you have the time after this priority, then you can engage in some way. And you will not get any time if you are fully absorbed and you think that the only thing is we are not getting the taste of chanting, or we are not getting the taste in Krishna consciousness. It's not like I'm getting it, but when you start getting the glimpse of it, we cannot get it constantly. When we read, when we try to absorb in some verse, in Srimad Bhagavatam or in some chanting, we have some internal realizations. I'm getting that bliss. You start crying, you feel that vibe of blissfulness. Once you see that glimpse, then you ask yourself, why I'm not getting this? That's the ultimate, right? And once you see that, then you want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Should I answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
We have one more. Would you want to say?
Yeah, if you have a question. I don't have a question. I just want to say congratulations.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I was late, engaged in some materialistic activities. To be honest. Yeah, just trying to take the humble position here. Yeah, it's a wonderful class, though I attended just a bit of it. I just wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada. I was watching one of the, or hearing from the devotees, one of the conversations from Srila Prabhupada, like somebody asked a question, how long does Swamiji took for you to, get the taste for the chanting? He said it took 30 years.
Yes.
So he's taking a humble position. By birth he is a pure devotee, but he also explains that we should understand that we are in a jaundice condition. When you are in jaundice condition, even sugar taste, sugar candy is a remedy for that, and when you eat it, it tastes bitter. So, sometimes we get a lot of energy that we chant. Sometimes we are like an elephant, dull elephant. We don't want to do anything. But still, my personal realization, it's like when you're constantly coming to the devotees and having association, and our approach should be, we get the more taste. So, and apart from that, I was just, like the Kul Chakra was, glorifying that we should always be trying to be a servant to the servant to the servant. Every time we should always be in a service mode, which actually gives a lot of taste that I personally experienced. Like whenever you come to temple or within association of the devotees, you should always try to take that, ask like, how can I serve you, rather than how you serve me, like you rightly said. So that's the approach. That is my realization. Just wanted to share.
I just want to elaborate on one point you mentioned about association. Whatever I have got in Krishna consciousness is just because of association. I'm such a fallen soul, I'm not even qualified. But just because of association, because devotees inspires us to walk on this path, and they become an example for us that something is better can be done in the life. I have seen so many examples of devotees, they have transformed their life within just a matter of few months and years by the association. So association is so important that we always try to seek the association of devotees, and somehow if we try to get some association of pure devotees in some way, it says sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, right? So sadhu sangha, so whoever is walking on the path of spirituality, whoever is trying to chant the holy name and trying to develop the pure form, they are sadhus, all sadhus. So try to seek the association and trying to ask the right questions. So asking the right questions, what are the right questions we need to ask? So I'm forgetting the name from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was finance minister in Nawabs. And he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asks the question, who am I? He was a finance minister at that time, 600 years ago. Came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to ask, tell me who am I and what's my purpose? That's a real question we need to ask from sadhus. And we might know the answer, but the important is how we can realize those answers. It's easy, it's for me and for us to understand that Aham Brahmasmi, very easy to say and listen. But to really understand and realize this internally, that Aham Brahmasmi, God is within everyone. Soul and super soul is within everyone. It's very hard to realize. And when we really see and realize that soul and super soul is sitting in everyone, we forget that we have to criticize anyone. We criticize somebody, we are not even criticizing that person. Somehow we are criticizing soul and super soul. If we have the real intelligence that we realize this, I'm Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not the soul, I'm the soul, and super soul is already there, then the duality will fade away in our life. And within the association of devotees, we can only understand. And the very beautiful example is given in Bhagavatam from the Narad Muni's life. right? So in the past life of Narad Muni, he and his mother actually were serving some saints, and after serving some saints, Narad Muni asked the saintly persons so he can eat the remnants. So he ate the remnants of the sadhus. So story goes like this: just by serving the sadhus and eating the remnants. After the story, usually people tell this, after what happens? After some time, when the sadhus left after some time, at the late night, middle of the night, her mother, his mother, Narad Muni's mother, heard some sound outside in the cow shed. So Narad Muni's mother went outside, that what's the sound is. When she went outside, there was a snake, and snake bit the mother, and the mother passed away at the same moment. So Narad Muni was very small, he don't know where to go, he has no relatives, nobody. But he has served the saintly person and he had learned something from them, that there must be some purpose higher of spiritual life. So he started walking and walking, and he left the house and started walking in the jungles with the purpose that I will find the truth. I want to know what is the truth. And did austerities. He didn't realize in the same life, but next life he becomes Narad Muni. It's little incarnation of Lord. So with the understanding of, with the association, the seed has been planted. Once you associate with any devotee, the seed has been planted within somebody of this, that there is something beyond this material life, and seed will become a tree one day for sure. I was coming to only on Sundays, very non-serious for 2 years. If I look back, for 2 years I was just coming on Sundays, not even chanting, nothing, just sitting having prasadam, and some people were discussing about chanting. Some little bit about the story, how the transformation take place. And they were sitting here, I remember the Prabhu was talking about chanting, and somehow with the chant, they was talking about chanting, the power of chanting, they inspired me to chant. And I start chanting. I start chanting on and off. I was chanting sometimes 16, 8, 4, or in some months I haven't chanted, then start chanting again. Somehow all the seeds which was planted within myself with the association here is helped me to be who I am today. So all the association, all the attempts we make, small attempts, it makes a lot of impact on our consciousness and samskars. Any other question?
That's really nice conversation is going. We can see this connection of audience. I was checking from the backside, nobody's sleeping. We really appreciate this, but we will have to switch to the next. We have scheduled. So Guru Prasad Prabhu was first, then Mataji. I don't know. Then 3. That's maximum 3 people. Sorry, but.
I think Vrindavan Prabhu very nicely explained the association of devotees is important. In fact, when question was asked to Mahaprabhu, what is the Vaishnava Achara? First thing Vaishnava Achara is Asat Sanga Jagat, that is getting rid of Asat Sanga. That means you don't want to associate people who actually will drag you down still in the material life. So you want to be in the association of people who are also looking for a higher purpose in life. So the devotees, so the association of devotees, that helps you quite a bit. That's very true. And also one more thing you explained also very nicely, that the person who actually asked this question to Mahaprabhu, who am I, is Sanatana Goswami. And he's already learned. It's not that he was not, he was a very highly qualified person. But he still, in front of Mahaprabhu, he asked this question to clarify what Mahaprabhu is going to say. So Mahaprabhu said, every one of us, by saying to him, you're all servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. Gopi Bharta Pada Kamala Dasa 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 Das. So that is a important line we want to remember always. So that actually is important. And another point also with respect to that, we know Prahlad Maharaj is a very great devotee. And then Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to give some great benediction, but he didn't want any benediction. And he said he didn't even want to go back home, back to Godhead. He said, I will be here. I'll try to, spread the glories of your glories to other people who are yet to come on this path. So he was more concerned with others who are not yet having the opportunity. So that is the real mode of a devotee. So devotee is only interested in serving the Lord. And even to add to that, one more thing is, even Prabhupada was asked, everybody has some swarupa. And Prabhupada said, don't worry. When the time is right, you'll automatically know. So we have a certain role in our spiritual, all of us. It is said that what the material existence is only 1/4 of the total existence. So that means you can understand how large, it's inconceivable. Even material world is inconceivable in terms of number of lokas and things like that. Is amazing. But these are all knowledge which are actually available for us in scriptures. So when we take time to read this, time to discuss things like this, and we slowly gather, and that will inspire us also further in our own devotional practice, and eventually we will achieve progress. As you mentioned already, that it will take many lifetimes, but we need to be serious about it, and that will come with association.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one question. When Lord Krishna met with Lord Sudama, you said he gave him 3 lokas. When Lord Krishna met with Lord Sudama, so he gave him 3 lokas, right? This is what you said? 2, okay. I want to know what are the lokas and what are the names of the 2 lokas that he gave him.
So, in the planetary system, we say is that it's described in the Bhagavatam. So, the Satlok, above there is a big spiritual planets, Vaikuntha Lok, Dhruva Lok, there are material planets, and there are lower planets also, lower planet system. So, in the Satloka, Lord Krishna and all the gopis and spiritual planet is there. So, when bottom 2 has been given to Sudama, when it's time to take third handful of rice, it stopped. It said, if you give that, then where we will go? So that was 3 lokas. It's been described in Srimad Bhagavatam in more details. There's Sat lokas and their names are completely described. I don't memorize the names. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam. If Prabhuji want to add into this anything.
Are you talking about the material world? In the material world?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a higher planet system and lower planet system.
Yes.
Yeah, I think both Bhuloka, Morloka, Swarloka, Maharloka, Tapoloka, Janaloka, Satyaloka.
Yes.
Then similarly, other planets are those.
So how you were talking about like we are entangled with material world. So since we come to a material world, so we do have material desires. But then how do we know that we have to practice detachment. But like how do we consciously practice detachment from past, future, circumstances, objects, situations, people, like how do we do that?
The actions, Krishna says, whatever actions you do it for me. I will give you a quick verse to relate this, that you can meditate on that verse. 9:17. So insert it. So Krishna is saying, I am the goal. 9:18 says, I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, the most dear friend. I am the creation. I am the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and eternal seed. Okay. So Krishna consciousness, we are not asking to leave the material activities. What we are trying to do is to change the consciousness. So we cook food, we cook for Krishna. and serve, and then eat the remnants. We dress, want to look beautiful. Do it for Krishna. For the pleasure of Krishna, not for my own self. I want to look good in the pleasure what Krishna likes. Okay, all the activities we do, try to dovetail those activities with Krishna. And if you're looking at the past, how we can try to create the balance between past, present, and future, how we can dovetail the activities. Because of our past action we have already done in this lifetime, there are already some impressions in our life, and we have some burden on that impressions, and it's the reflex of those actions keeps coming on us. It's pretty natural. Accepting those. Acceptance is a big thing. We are not able to accept our past mistakes. In a normal practical life, acceptance of who I am. Accepting that if I'm right, I'm wrong, I'm bad, whatever is, this is who I am. Acceptance that who you are, and try to work that how I can be better. First is acceptance. Acknowledgement that this is who I am and where I want to go, and now have to make all the actions to go there. So forgiveness is one of the character of saintly persons. We say forgiveness. The first thing is forgive ourselves. We have been not perfect. We have done so many mistakes. We have hurted and people in some way, somehow. And some people also have did it for. First thing is forgive ourselves. First, once we forgive ourselves and accept who we are, then it's very easy for us to forgive others. And the concept of we are not this body, we are the soul, and everyone is soul. Once this understanding deepens within us, then there is nothing illusion in our mind, and there is no grudge happening within. Because we know that this body is going to pass away. This is temporary. This is going to pass, no matter what. So with a deeper understanding, I'm not this soul, philosophical understanding of forgiveness and forgiving, it will help us to really have a peace of mind within ourselves. I hope I answered your question.
Krishna